Mayor Eric Adams outlined a new plan to make the city's subway system safer. It includes resources for the homeless and stricter enforcement of laws inside trains and stations.
Just hours after the mayor's announcement, more violence on the subway. Overnight, police say a man was stabbed several times at the Jamaica Avenue Van Wyck train station in Queens. Also yesterday, a man was stabbed in the arm at the Briarwood station in Queens in the middle of the evening rush hour. And earlier in the day, a man was taken into custody, allegedly stabbing a dancer on board a subway train in Williamsburg on Thursday.
Wow, so much. And the big question this morning is, will the mayor's 17-page plan make people feel safe and help return ridership to pre-pandemic levels? Eyewitness News reporter Marcus Solis is live in Columbus Circle with more. Marcus, good morning again.
Good morning, Tony and Mike. And indeed, regaining the riders' trust, their confidence in the subway system, the goal of this plan that was announced yesterday. But as you said, the violence does continue. Overnight, a 46-year-old homeless man stabbed multiple times, happened just after 3 a.m. on the Jamaica Avenue Van Wyck station. That victim approached by 3 people who demanded money and then stabbed him. He was taken to Jamaica Hospital. Police continue to look for those suspects. As for that 17-page plan announced by the mayor and the governor yesterday, it is meant to address upwards of 1,000 homeless people that are taking shelter in the subway system. The mayor says enforcement will begin again for violations such as fare beating, sleeping while sprawled out on subway cars, carrying piles of trash or their possessions. Those who don't get off at the end of the line will be escorted off subway trains, and police officers will be accompanied by mental health professionals to try and coax some of those people into homeless shelters, take them to mental health hospitals if necessary. The mayor promising a crackdown, but advocates say that homelessness is not a policing issue.
No more smoking, no more doing drugs, no more sleeping, no more doing barbecues on the subway system, no more just doing whatever you want. No, those days are over.
Maybe some people will access the care that they need through this proposal, but many more people will probably be facing summonses and fines and pushed out of sight or moved from the subways to the streets where they're exposed to the elements, or arrested and sent to Rikers Island.
Well, those professionals that will be working with police officers, teams of 30 will be going out to some of the subway lines that have experienced upticks in crime, and also some high-profile stations, including Penn Station, Grand Central Station. We're live in Columbus Circle. Marcus Solis, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Marcus. Police are also looking for a group of men responsible for stabbing 2 people in Brooklyn. This happened around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon along Glenwood Road in Canarsie. Police say a 17-year-old boy was stabbed in the head and a 20-year-old man was stabbed in the chest. Both of them are in stable condition, and police are looking for a group of about 5 or 6 men who ran away from that scene. The man accused of following a woman up to her Chinatown apartment and then stabbing her to death. He has been indicted. Asamad Nash was not in court yesterday for his hearing. He was arrested last Sunday for killing Christina Yuna Lee. She's a 35-year-old creative producer for Splice, which is a digital music platform. Nash is charged with first-degree murder and other crimes. He will be back in court next month.
Today in New Jersey, civil rights activists will publicly condemn Bridgewater police for what they consider the racial profiling and police brutality of a 14-year-old African-American boy. It all stems from this fight caught on camera at the Bridgewater Commons Mall last weekend between the 14-year-old Zakai Hussein and an older Latino high school student. Officers pinned Zakai to the ground, put their knees at his back and handcuffed him, while the Latino teenager sat on the couch and was not restrained. The Somerset County Prosecutor's Office is investigating how police handled that situation. Turning now to the crisis in Ukraine as tensions continue to escalate. President Biden warning that Russia could invade Ukraine any day now. A U.S. official telling ABC News that 40 to 50% of Russia's troops are in attack positions near the border with Ukraine.
As of this moment, I'm convinced he's made the decision. We have reason to believe that.
Although he left the door open for a diplomatic end to the crisis, the president telling the American people an attack on Ukraine is now imminent.
We have reason to believe the Russian forces are planning to and intend to attack Ukraine in the coming week, in the coming days. We believe that they will target Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, a city of 2.8 million innocent people.
In eastern Ukraine, Russian-controlled separatists conducting what appears to be a false flag operation in their own territory. A car exploding in their capital as they announced mass evacuations. The U.S. has been warning for weeks that such an operation could be used as a pretext for Russia to launch an all-out attack on Ukraine. President Putin, without evidence, saying the situation is escalating. Now, there are fears that Putin's estimated 150,000 troops at the Ukrainian border will invade under the pretext of protecting the Russian-speaking population there. Ukraine's government categorically denying any intention of launching an offensive. Meantime, people in Ukraine are getting ready. One gun club seeing a 500% increase in members over the last 3 weeks. Ukraine's president is urging calm, and Putin says Russia is still open to more diplomacy.
Russia has a choice between war and all the suffering it will bring, or diplomacy that will make a future safer for everyone.
Back here at home, the Department of Homeland Security is urging governors across the country, as well as the private sector, to take precautions in case of a Russian cyber attack. Officials say there aren't at this point any specific or credible threats.
And the world is watching. More news now. COVID numbers in the tri-state continue to trend in the right direction. New York's positivity rate is now 2.6%. In New Jersey, it's 3.4%, and Connecticut's positivity rate is 3.8%. New York's Department of Health also is now planning to make it easier for healthcare workers to have access to booster shots, taking the vaccines directly to their workplaces. Also, the state will no longer mandate boosters for healthcare workers, in part to alleviate the shortage of healthcare staff. That mandate was supposed to go into effect on February 21st. And across the U.S., nearly every state is now reporting declining case numbers. California is now the first state to shift to an endemic approach, declaring an end to 2 years of mandates.
What we're announcing here today is about turning a page, moving from this crisis mentality, moving away from a reactive mindset and a crisis mindset to living with this virus.
The governor of Utah also outlined an endemic plan yesterday. The CDC is expected to release new guidance next week on mask recommendations. And there will not be a vaccine mandate for cheerleaders at New York's state high school championships. The Athletic Association now says it will instead hold the competition without spectators. An earlier plan for a vaccine mandate was met with opposition, particularly in Nassau County. The championships are being held in Rochester next month.
An attorney for R. Kelly has filed motions for an acquittal and a new trial. The singer convicted last year on 9 counts, including sex trafficking and racketeering in Brooklyn federal court. In court filings on Thursday, Kelly's new attorney arguing that Kelly's original attorneys were unprepared. She also said prosecutors failed to prove Kelly's guilt on some of the charges. So